Hello you guys, and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I want to address what I believe is a number one hack for simplifying your life and really living that minimalist life, not just in terms of our physical spaces, but also financially, as well as with our benefit to the environment and others. But also I have a minimalism challenge for us for the month of November that fits into this hack as well. So let's begin. Now, what is this number one strategy? I think some people might disagree with me on this. I see a lot of those different hack-related videos, but I feel like sometimes those are going a little bit too far. And I think this one takes it back to the basics, and that is to use up what you already have. In life, whether it's with our spaces or with our foods that we're eating, with our body care products, there's always that temptation to buy more, buy better, buy something that gets us closer to where we want to be. Obviously, with minimalism, we're trying to avoid unnecessary consumption, but the reality that a lot of us need to face is that even if we're not a huge fan of what we already have it, and no matter what you end up buying, it's the most minimalist option to just keep using what you have as long as you're able to use it. Now, with this particular tip, there's a lot of great benefits. Number one, obviously, you're using up what you already have, so you're not needing to buy anything new, and you're not having to create any additional waste. Even if we're buying a super sustainable, awesome purchase that's going to add a minimalist flair or aesthetic to our home, it's still buying something new. We're still adding to this consumption. And while I'm not against consumption at all, I love to make sure what I'm purchasing is very intentional. And in times when I'm trying to save money, even though there might be a more ideal purchase I can make, sometimes it's just not worth it. Let me show you a few examples. First up, our couch. Now, this couch is really comfortable, and I have spent a lot of hours on this couch over the past 4 years. However, I don't really like this couch much anymore for a variety of reasons. It was purchased on clearance back when Jake and I were getting married. I don't love the way it looks. I don't love the color. I don't love how this cushion is pretty much impossible to stand up straight. And as my values have changed over time, it is filled with feathers, which bothers me because I did not realize that when it was purchased, and I was also not vegan at the time and not as aware of animal-related issues. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't like this couch, and I could get rid of it. However, this couch is still perfectly usable for us. And even though I don't love it in terms of the look or the ethics or anything like that, it still works, and if we get rid of it, we have to buy a new couch, which comes with additional costs. And even if it's a sustainable company, it's still creating new demands on the planet. So this is a perfect example of keep using up what we have. Now let's take a look at the pantry. There's definitely a few ingredients in here that I have had for much longer than I want to admit. Mostly not expired yet, but I do plan on using them. I'd much rather try to use it up, challenge myself to make some sort of interesting recipe that I can use and then just not throwing away food, especially for these partially opened things. There's a few of them that have been here a long time. In an ideal world, I wouldn't have these anymore, and I could just throw them away. But if it is something where I feel like I could create something that could be useful or at least, a filling meal with no additional cost, I'm going to try to do that. Furthermore, certain types of clothing that I have is not necessarily minimalist, and I've told you guys before I don't have a capsule wardrobe, but I'm not going to declutter clothing just for the sake of decluttering. I'm going to keep wearing it until it either doesn't fit me anymore or it's maybe worn out to the point where I can't wear it anymore. Now, it is important for me to address that with this particular strategy here, I'm not talking about items that you're decluttering because they're not adding value and then you just don't replace them. I'm talking about things that you get rid of something and replace it with something else. With the couch, I will at some point buy a new couch, but we're not there yet. Throwing away certain food items and needing to buy more. Purchasing new clothing in exchange for getting rid of current ones. The idea is if you are just decluttering with excess and you have no intent of replacing any of it, that's different. If that is where you're at in your decluttering journey, I do have a couple videos related to that I will actually link in the description field for you if you want to check that out. But if you are intending to get rid of something and purchase something else, maybe the best strategy is to just hold off on making that purchase. Of course, we have to ultimately decide what matters most to us. I'm sure that many of you watching all have different ideas of what it means to be a minimalist or what you want your lifestyle to look like. For some, They might take a look at this couch and think, ugh, I could not be happy in my space with an ugly couch like that, or with a couch that doesn't reflect my values. So no matter what, they might feel like the best approach is to get rid of it. And that's ultimately their choice. Other people might not really be in as much of a place where they're trying to save as much money. So for this practice, maybe it's not important. Nonetheless, there are so many different organizations, companies, people who are trying to get us to spend our money in a certain way, to purchase or consume different items. And it can feel like a lot. Even though some of these purchases can be really awesome and ethical and get us maybe closer where we want to be, the root issue here is to be really responsible and mindful about if that is the correct thing for us, if it's worth it, if the ends justify the means. And I think for me, at least at the moment where I'm at in life right now, I'm trying to be much more cognizant of that. And even if this is the right purchase, is this something that's absolutely necessary? There are definitely times where maybe it is worth it to go with that other approach, but at least in the current phase of my own minimalism journey, this is something I'm thinking a lot about. Now, let's get into the minimalism related challenge here. With this video, November is right around the corner, so I thought that might be a perfect time. I know in the past I have done versions of a no spend or low spend challenge, but this one's a little bit different. I'm calling this the Use It Up challenge. So for the next 30 days, for me that's going to be the month of November of 2018, I'm going to be trying to exclusively use up what I have and spend as little as possible. Now this can be on a variety of things. Obviously, home furnishings and that kind of stuff. Food, I'm thinking of as a big one just because we do still have a lot of random stuff chilling in the pantry and it's just been there for a long time, a few of those things. Use them up, take care of those. Body care products, personal care products, any consumables really, trying to prevent us from buying anything or as little as possible over the next 30 days, and then hopefully being able to save that money for something else. But not only that, use up some of that stuff that's been in your space for a long time. That stuff you've been holding on to just in case or for a certain activity. Maybe you have a couple of those projects that you've intended to get to, or maybe you've started but haven't finished. Maybe that's a time to take care of it. Maybe like us, you have way more food than you actually need in your space, and you've got stuff that you really haven't been consuming on a regular basis or that's been there a while. Maybe you've got a full closet of different toiletry items. Whatever it is, I know personally I'm challenging myself to try to not purchase anything new this month, and you can join me if you'd like. Now, part of the motivation for this challenge actually comes from the fact that just yesterday we got an offer for a house accepted. So we are officially in the process now of purchasing this home. It is a condo. We're super excited. I know I had put together a video a little while ago talking about feeling bummed out after our first one didn't work out. And a bunch of you were in the comments said, you know what, it's meant to be. The better place for you guys is going to come along, and it did. It's definitely a smaller place and not as nice of a place, but the price point was $60,000 cheaper than the other one, so we're going to be able to pay off the house a lot quicker. And even though it's not as nice by some people's standards, it is still a beautiful home, and I'm super excited about it. Now, we're not actually going to be closing on the house till mid-December, and probably not moving in until the end of December, so it'll be a little while before we actually have video footage related to some of that, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to do a little extra limited spending over this next month as we prepare for that process. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to check out past videos, you can do that over here, and you can subscribe to the channel up here. Can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.